And what is up, everybody? Pregame show here Friday night for Nebraska versus Rutgers. One of the biggest games tomorrow in a game that honestly will define not only Rutgers' season, but Nebraska's season going forward. I'm nervous, guys. I'm nervous. I'm going to start it off with that on this live stream. Hope everybody's having a great day. Let me know in the comment section. Let me know in the live stream chat where you're tuning in from. Hope everybody's having a good one. I'm nervous about this ball game, guys. And I have the exact same feeling I did before Illinois for this Rutgers matchup. This is a good team. And I'm trying my best to give Rutgers respect because they're undefeated. They're 5-0. Okay. And I know a lot of people have thrown around some silent confidence going into this ball game. Yes, Nebraska's going to win. They're going to do this, that, and the third. But we need to remember we're playing a very quality team. And a lot of times, Nebraska fans, I think we just get ahead of ourselves. We think we have a great squad and we can beat just about everybody. And I think that's fine to believe that. But we also should give respect to the team we're playing. And that's what we're going to do in this live stream because this is a big game for Nebraska, guys. Let's talk about the implications that are on the line tomorrow. Okay. Nebraska is 4-1. Rutgers is undefeated. You are going into a bye week after this matchup. Let's say you win this football game. Okay, let's say you win by a touchdown, just for an example. You go into the bye week with a great energy. You're one win away from bowl game eligibility. You go ahead and play Indiana 2 weeks. You're rested up. You feel good. The energy is high. The confidence is high. You beat Indiana, and there you are. You're 6-1. You're going to a bowl game. All because you beat Rutgers, and that confidence was gained going into the bye week. Now let's say you lose to Rutgers, 4-0, team that has not lost yet. Confidence kind of is a little bit deflated. That's your second loss. It's your second loss at home. You're questioning how good of a team we really are. There might be some bad feelings in the locker room. Why isn't this guy getting enough playing time? And then you play a really good Indiana team in 2 weeks, and let's say that compounds. You lose again. And then you play Ohio State, you lose again. So this game has a lot of implications. You want to go on a winning streak? Because we're going to play a lot of good teams going forward. Okay, I don't think we thought a couple weeks ago, or at least a couple months ago, that Rutgers would be undefeated going into this matchup. I know we didn't think that Indiana would be undefeated this far in the season as well. Okay, we're going to likely play undefeated Rutgers, undefeated Indiana, and undefeated Ohio State back to back to back. This starts everything. So this is a very, very big game. I gave you guys my prediction. I'm sure you guys saw that video. Listen, I've had the same prediction since July, since June. Rutgers is a trap game, guys. It's shaped out to be that way for Nebraska. I know we're the odds-on favorite. I think the line's sitting at about 7. Somebody let me know in the comments section. Would not touch that line if I was a betting man. But I do think Nebraska loses just because there's this part of me. There's this part of me. It was the same whisper inside my head during the Illinois game that, oh, Wilson, Illinois is a really good team. I shushed it then. I predicted Nebraska win. We lost. I don't know if I can do that again when it comes to Rutgers. Again, here's why I'm concerned. And I'll get to the comment section, so make sure, everybody, to put your thoughts in the live chat. I'm going to get to all your comments, so let me know what you're thinking about this ball game. Keys, I will get to all of it, so let's get active here in the chat. But one thing I'm concerned about when it comes to Rutgers is their rushing attack. Okay, Kyle Monangai is the best running back Nebraska's played so far, and it's not even close. He is a top 10 running back in college football. But you know what doesn't get love on Rutgers' team that's really, really good? Their offensive line. Their offensive line is graded out as one of the best in college football, period. Top 10, top 5 in college football. It's incredible, especially in the running game. Okay, they're giving Kyle Monangai a million opportunities to go and get a first down, to get 10 yards, 15 yards, to get a chunk play. That's what concerns me because let's call it what it is, guys. Nebraska has struggled against the run game so far this season, specifically against really good offensive lines. We struggled against Illinois in the run game. Our defensive line did not hold up. We struggled against even, Northern Iowa, an FCS squad that really ran the ball down our throat. We kind of struggled with that just a little bit. So I am concerned because the type of team that Nebraska, traditionally struggles against, That's what Rutgers is as a squad. And it's not like they only run the football. Okay, it's not like they're one-dimensional, because we've seen some one-dimensional teams in the past. Okay, if you stop this part of their game, they're done on offense. That's not what Rutgers does, though. Like, Rutgers can pass as well. They have a really good quarterback. Their quarterback has beat us twice in a Minnesota uniform. So I just think there's a lot of things going to this ball game that concern me as a fan of Nebraska. They concern me. Here's why I'm optimistic about this game. And I told you guys this a couple times throughout the season. This is why I think we can win close games this year. We can beat good teams. Number one, we have Dylan Raiola. Okay, that's the biggest X factor. And it's a little bit cliche to keep going back to it, but it's so true. Okay, the reason why I think that we have a good shot against Rutgers is because we have an elite quarterback that we haven't had in the last decade plus. That's number one. Okay, and Rutgers has not played this good of a quarterback ever. Number two, I trust our offense in general versus their defense. I don't think they have one of the better defenses in the Big Ten. I think our offense has played very, very well over the last couple weeks. That's not the reason we've lost football games. So that's number two. And number three, Matt Rhule is almost due. It feels like he's due for a big victory. Okay, Rutgers or Illinois was kind of served up on a platter for him. We couldn't execute. We couldn't do our job. We lost in overtime. It's time to do this against Rutgers. It's time to get a big victory, guys. But it's going to be a very close ball game. I think it's going to go down to the fourth quarter. I know some people will throw out predictions that Nebraska's going to blow out Rutgers. No, I would be shocked. I mean, sure, there is a possibility where Nebraska blows out Rutgers, but there's also a possibility where Rutgers blows out us. I just don't think it's very likely. Okay, Rutgers is a good team. We need to give them respect. This is not the Rutgers that we're accustomed to. I think too many people nowadays are accustomed to Rutgers being, this middling program in the Big Ten that can't scrape together a couple wins together. Like, this is a bowl-eligible team year in and year out. And right now, they're better than us. Like, they have a better record than we do. They honestly have probably two better wins under their belt. They beat Washington and Virginia Tech. Our best one was Colorado, which, looking back on it, that Colorado win wasn't that bad. So, I don't know. It's a good Rutgers team, guys. Put your stuff in the comment section. We have a lot to talk about throughout this live stream. I wanted to show you guys, so the point spread, according to ESPN, somebody put this in the comment section, is officially 6.5. Nebraska is favored. Again, if I was a betting man, and I know a lot of you guys are throwing down money on college football, would not touch this line whatsoever. Again, Nebraska by 6.5. I'm honestly shocked the line is what it is. I know we're at home. I get that has an impact on these betting lines, but Rutgers is a good squad. They get in close ball games and they win them. Look at here, you get Kalak Manis, Monangai. Their receiver core is underrated. Not as good as Illinois. Like, people looking back on the Illinois receiver core, they had two perennial, first round, second round, third round draft picks on that wide receiver core. Rutgers receiver core isn't as good, but it's still dynamic. They got fast players there, all good with all good hands. So really, really like their squad in general. But again, it's gonna be a little warm tomorrow. 80, 85, 90 degrees at Memorial. That's pretty warm for an October ball game. But man, it's just, I have a very, very interesting vibe going to this one. Just a weird feeling about this because, I want to think we win. I really do. But the recent history of Nebraska football just tells me that we don't. Because this is a good squad. They run the football. They don't make mistakes. They don't have pre-snap penalties. All of that Nebraska's had over the last couple of weeks. And I was sitting here at the end of the Purdue game last week on a live stream, and I told you guys, I feel decent about our win. I'm glad we won. But at the exact same time, there are so many issues on this team execution-wise that we have not fixed. Okay? We have not fixed the pre-snap penalties. We have not fixed, some of these issues, like, for example, we were having some turnovers with Dylan Raiola recently where he's kind of throwing these jump balls up. Yes, they aren't his fault necessarily, they're the wide receivers, but we're still having some interception issues with Raiola. We're having just overall execution issues on this defensive line, right? This defensive line hasn't performed as well as we thought they could. So, a lot of frustrating stuff that's really starting to compound for Nebraska that we haven't fixed. And that's why I think that, honestly, I just have a weird feeling going to this one. And I know, people, what's interesting about the Nebraska fan base, I love the Nebraska fan base, I'm part of them, But I predicted a loss today, and people were coming at me. They were saying, "Wilson, how dare you be so negative?" Like, I'm not negative in the slightest. I was sipping the Kool-Aid with you guys all offseason. I have to be real here. Like, I have to go to my gut, go to my opinion, and stick to it. I'm not going to predict 16-0. You know what I mean? I'm not that type of fan, but I'm also going to sit here and logically and analyze every single game we play. I just think Rutgers is a good team. I really, really, really do. And I believe Nebraska is a good team. But it's the same conundrum we had versus Illinois. It's the same question we had versus Illinois. We will find out how good Nebraska really is at the end of this ball game. Okay, 7 o'clock Saturday night, we will know how good Nebraska really is. What does that mean, Wilson? Can Nebraska compete for a Big Ten title? We'll probably find out. Or is Nebraska just good enough to win 6 games? We'll find out versus Rutgers. They're a good team, man. They're a good team. I'm nervous. Okay. There's a difference between being nervous and scared. I'm not scared of Rutgers, but I'm nervous because I respect them as a program. You know what I like about them? They remind me, it's basically Matt Rhule's program 2.0. Okay, they have Greg Schiano, who's a very disciplinary head coach. It's very similar to Matt Rhule. They have a pro-style offense. They can pass it when needed, but they're going to rely on that running game. It's a Matt Rhule program. That's what I like about Rutgers a lot. Like, they do things the exact same way Matt Rhule does things. And we're both in very similar situations right now. All right, let's get into the chat, see what you guys are talking about, because, again, this is a big ball game. Very, very big ball game for the Huskers. And like I told you guys, it's going to compound, right? If we win this football game going into the bye week, the energy is high, the confidence is high, team chemistry is at an all-time high. That's going to prove to be good going into the Indiana game, an undefeated Indiana squad, then Ohio State. Now, if you lose this football game going into a bye week, first off, number one rule of college football, you do not want to lose going into a bye week. Okay, because the last thing you want to have is a bad taste in your mouth and a bad vibe in the locker room, because that's going to kill morale. So you do not want to lose going into a bye week. You just can't lose. So that's why I think it's really a season-defining game, and it's not great. You'd want a layup game here. It's not a layup. So let's get into the comment section. Everybody start putting in your thoughts. What are you thinking about this game? Does Nebraska get it done? What are you scared about? What are you optimistic about? Let's get in the comment section. Let's have some fun tonight. Line is 6.5. Last time I checked, hard stay away in my opinion. Yeah, I would not touch that betting line whatsoever. Again, if I were a betting man, actually, I'd bet Rutgers. I really would. But I would never bet, period, and I never bet against Nebraska. So, yeah. Plus, Rutgers hasn't beaten Nebraska. That's true. That's true. The Huskers are 6-0 against Rutgers all time. But to be completely honest with you, these all-time records, they don't mean anything. Like, it doesn't provide any relevance to this year's matchup. But it is interesting. But as we've known and seen as Nebraska fans, records are meant to be broken a lot of times in the negative department. Why aren't we blitzing teams more? It looks like we were playing so vanilla this year. I agree with you, man. Let's talk about this defensive line, because I've been disappointed with it, really, because I truly believe the talent is good enough. Yes, Ty is good enough, Nash is good enough, Jamari's good enough, but we're not getting consistent pressure on the quarterback. Even against Purdue, we didn't bring Hudson Card down nearly enough. We didn't bring Luke Altmaier down nearly enough against Illinois. And we're not blitzing. And I understand why we're not blitzing. Number one, we don't trust our secondary. A lot of times when you blitz, you leave wide receivers in one-on-one coverage. You don't want to do this because I think Tony White truly does not trust our secondary. That's number one, the reason why we're not blitzing. And number two, I think he trusts our defensive line to get pressure with 3 or 4 guys. I think they've been successful at times getting pressure, but again, when you need a big third down stop, it's good to dial the blitz no matter how good your defensive line is. So I agree with you, man. I really do. And a lot of times, Luke Altmaier had a field day against Nebraska. He really didn't ever, go in the dirt. He never really had any adversity. There was a good defensive line. They got to him a couple times, but they didn't get to him consistently, and we never blitzed him. A lot of times, what's going to kill a quarterback's confidence is when they, get thrown in the dirt. When they have to force a bad pass because pressure is coming in their face, or, when a guy gets off their blind side and gets them down. We have not done that, so definitely would like to see more blitzing. versus Rutgers with the more blitz packages because we didn't really do it last year. We didn't blitz too much last year either. Rutgers is a good squad. Anyone who isn't nervous is too deep in the Kool-Aid. Hope Dylan can make an extra play in the fourth quarter to get the win. Yeah, I completely agree. And it's very similar to that Illinois ball game where we were tied up versus Illinois, or yes, we were tied up versus Illinois, and we were in the red zone, third down and about 5, play action pass. Dylan Raiola had a wide open Luke Lindenmeyer in the end zone, overshot him. Freshman mistake. That's going to happen. Let's not have that happen again. And you know what I've heard from Nebraska practice is that, Dylan Raiola, he's been obsessing about that throw. He knows that he missed it. He's been repeating it over and over again. That's the type of athlete that Dylan Raiola is that he's a perfectionist. And when he makes a mistake as crucial as that, he's going to try to fix it. So I don't think he misses that throw ever again. And I think, if we have the football in the fourth quarter, we're down 1 score, I trust Dylan Raiola. Do I trust Marcus Satterfield? I don't know. Do I trust our offensive line? I don't know. But I trust my quarterback, and that's a good thing. It's a good thing. Tribal Chief says, the defensive formation needs to be a run game shut down, but also keeping things in zone for backfield. I agree. But again, just going back to what I said earlier, it's not like Rutgers is a one-dimensional team. Like, they can throw the football. Okay, Alec Manis is not a world beater as a quarterback, but he's beat us twice. Okay, so they can throw the football. But yes, the primary thing we need to do is stop that running game because that's our bread and butter. I have the same feeling I did for the Colorado game. Our defense needs to play like they did versus Colorado. Yeah, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to play like we did versus Colorado. I think Matt Rhule did a really good job getting the boys ready for that ball game. That was the game that had penciled in all off season. The energy was there in the stadium, the players. I usually watch the body language of players on the sideline and players coming out of the tunnel walk. I've never seen that high of an energy before a ball game from the Huskers. Okay, they were ready to go. They were ready to play. Hatred was running through their veins. I don't think that same energy is going to be coming out versus Rutgers. I just don't. And I also think the crowd's not going to be even close to where they were against Colorado, just because it's a 2:30 kick in October. Like it's not going to be as crazy. So yeah. Vincent Shavers, what up, Vincent Shavers? He says, you don't have to be the better team on paper. You just have to be better when you play. Yeah, I completely agree with you. I agree with you. Again, there's a lot of times where, Nebraska is the more talented team. We saw that, throughout the Scott Frost era, even last year for Matt Rhule, like Nebraska was the more talented team, but they didn't play that when they actually got in the ball game. So I agree with you, man. Again, Vincent, man, I hope your son has a good game tomorrow. I hope he does. I really do. Appreciate you as always, my brother. Vince says, trust me, we will win. Mark my words. I hope you're right, man. I really, really hope you're right. Again, I'm not going to sit here and predict it. I'm not going to sit here and feel too confident about it because I was in your shoes for the Illinois game and I got burnt and we lost. So, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I'm not going to get fooled twice. I'm not going to sip the Kool-Aid on this one until I see with my own eyes. So hopefully we get the victory and I can get more optimistic going into the ball game versus Indiana in 2 weeks. How are we feeling about special teams, specifically the field goal unit? We're feeling pretty bad about it. Let's be completely honest here. Here's what I'm feeling good about when it comes to special teams. I feel good about our punts. I feel good about Brian Buschini. I feel good about our return men. That's about it. I don't feel good about John Hull. I don't feel good about our long snapper situation. And like I said in my video today, special teams doesn't fix itself in a matter of 1 week. Like maybe we'll start to see improvements at the end of the bye, but this is going to be a lingering issue that continues for at least this game, probably the rest of the season. So it is what it is. Huskers win. This is Rutgers. Close, tough, nervous. We win. Appreciate that. Vincent Shaver says, he told me he loves your show. Hey, tell my man Vincent, thank you for tuning in. Again, I appreciate a lot. I've been reaching out to a lot of players on Nebraska's team, and some will watch my videos, and I appreciate all the Nebraska players who show me support, the Nebraska recruits who show me support, the Nebraska families who show me support. Again, it's pretty it's pretty crazy. I was talking to a couple of Nebraska alumni earlier today. I just texted back and forth about what's going on with Matt Rhule and how we're feeling good about the future. So again, it's pretty surreal. A lot of these guys watch my stuff, but I appreciate you. That's Vincent Shaver's father. Really good dude. Again, I hope your son has a big day tomorrow, man, because he's a talent. He's a talent. There is a massive swing game for the trajectory of the program. Wilson laid it out perfectly for the outcomes post-bye. Again, yeah, like we were saying, you win this football game, the vibe is there. The confidence is back in that locker room. A lot of these guys are feeling good. The practice energy will be back. And then you play a very good Indiana team in Bloomington in 2 weeks. Who says you don't win that game? However, if you lose to Rutgers, again, you don't ever want to lose going into a bye week because the energy is just sucked out of the place. So, again, you got to win, or else you might compound a lot of these losses. You might go on a losing streak. You might lose to Rutgers, and because of that lost confidence, you lose to Indiana, and then you lose to Ohio State. So, again, we're thinking about, you always want to take it one game at a time, but in these kind of scenarios, you kind of want to think ahead. Yes, winning this game is important in and of itself, but it could provide implications for our future matchups. Bobby says Rutgers 24, Huskers 17. I could see it. Again, it's going to be a close ball game. I think it's going to be within one score. Either Nebraska wins by one score or Rutgers wins by one score. Now, can Nebraska finally win a one-score ball game? I don't know. We'll see. Again, we'll talk about it tomorrow. Real quick, everybody make sure to hit that like button on the stream. It would help me out. So again, right now, just hit that like button on the stream. It will really, really help me. All right. Let's get back to it again, everybody. Keep putting your thoughts in here about the game tomorrow. Let's get into it, man. Let's get hype. Michael Hall, it's my main concern. Points from our field goal kicker. This game is going to be close. Field goals might be extremely vital. Yeah, and again, that's another reason why I'm a little bit pessimistic about this ball game, because I know that if we need a big field goal, and there are going to be situations where we need to make a field goal, where, okay, we're driving down the field, maybe we get shut up in the goal line, it's 4th down and 7, you don't really trust Raiola, you don't really trust the offense, let's give the kicker an opportunity. You need to have your kicker knock down that field goal. Does he? Do you feel confident about that? No. That's why I'm concerned. And in my opinion, Matt Rhule should go for it almost every single time. If it's within 5 yards, 6 yards, I would go for it, because I trust Raiola's arm more than I trust the kicking situation, more than I trust the long snapper. So that's why I'm a little bit concerned. And again, it's just something that won't really fix itself, unfortunately, until next year. And that sucks, but it's the truth behind the matter. 31-20 Huskers, I like it. I hope so. 28-14 Nebraska, I like it. I like that you included no field goals by either team, because both teams struggle with field goals. That's true. Do we have one of those games this season where everything goes right for us and wrong for the other team, like one against Northwestern? Yeah, man. Again, Northwestern 2021. Listen, if there was a game where that happened, I think it would have been probably last week versus Purdue. Definitely not this week. And the Northwestern team we played in 2021 was garbage. Really, really bad. Rutgers is not them. Okay? Indiana's not them. Ohio State's not them. So if that happens, it'd be against a really, really bad team like UCLA even. But again, we're just getting ahead of ourselves. I don't think so. 52-14 Nebraska. That's not happening, man. That's not happening. I love the optimism. I love it, but it's not. We got to be real here. We got to be real. Do you think we're playing better on defense if we blitz more? It just depends on the team we're playing. I think in general, yes, we really should have better blitz concepts. We're just not blitzing, period. I think a lot of our defense, like somebody stated earlier, is vanilla, right? We're not doing anything, to confuse an opposing offense. It's not very hard to read our defense. So I think we would be playing better on defense, but I mean, we only gave up 10 points last week versus Purdue. One of that points came in garbage time, so it's not like our defense is playing really bad. They played bad versus Illinois. I don't know. We'll see. We like 28-10. We don't like field goals. Therefore, I conclude 28-10 Nebraska victory with 21 straight points being scored in the fourth quarter. I could see it. But once again, 21 straight points? I don't know. I don't know if I trust our offense that much to get 21 straight points in the fourth quarter. 34-21, like that. So no field goal tries in the game. Not okay. The only way I would take a field goal is if it's like 4th and 15 and you're within like the 20-yard line. It's like, okay, I'm not going to convert this. Let's give our guy an opportunity. But you know what I don't like? And I talked about this, I want to say in my Wednesday video. Okay. Rutgers blocks kicks. So not only do we have a kicking problem, but we've also had a kicks getting blocked problem. Okay. Rutgers under Greg Schiano has blocked 71 kicks. It's unbelievable. It's an unbelievable statistic. So they're probably going to block a kick against us if we have an opportunity. So I just really wouldn't risk it. I really wouldn't risk it. When do we get Tristan back? Probably after the bye week. Probably. I think a lot of people have been like yearning for Tristan Alvano to come back. Like, oh, we have this great kicker, but he's out. Like, we forget that Tristan Alvano is probably just as bad as John Hall. Maybe a little bit better. But it's not like he's going to be a big upgrade when he does come back. And I told you guys this in the offseason. Like, he's a groin injury. Tristan Alvano's a groin injury. Those groin injuries do not go away. Okay, he played the first couple of games of the season, and then he hasn't played recently. Okay, it's not like he had a new injury in between. He still has a groin injury, but it just hasn't went away, and it's not going to go away because that's the way it works. Especially when he's a kicker. Okay, when you're kicking your foot and your leg, you're actively using that groin muscle. So I don't think Tristan Alvano's ever going to be 100% this year. He might come back. I don't think he's going to be good when he comes back. So Nebraska will not figure out our kicking situation probably until next year, and that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but yeah, it's not great. Got to bring a transfer, and that does fall. It does fall a little bit on Matt Rhule for knowing we had an issue, and he really didn't fix it. I think the second half of the Purdue game gave us a good bump. 1-score game going to the fourth, and we hit the gas. Yeah, I agree with you, man. Whatever Matt Rhule said at halftime, it worked. I think sometimes, specifically this offense, we just can't get points. And we have these inconsistencies where we'll go down the field really, really easily, but we just can't convert. And we make some bad decisions. We make some bad play calls in the red zone. We go for a field goal when we shouldn't. And then here we are, we have 0 points. So I think the offense, they just need to be more consistent. And something that Marcus Satterfield said at halftime, or Matt Rhule said at halftime, worked out. I thought our offense played good in the first half. We just couldn't get points. That falls on everybody, the coaching staff and the players, who are just not executing the right way. What do you think of a bowl between Nebraska and Oklahoma? I honestly, that might happen. I mean, I think Nebraska will win about 8 games. Oklahoma will win about 8 games. That would be pretty hype. That would be hype. They might do that too for ratings. That would be really cool. Malcolm Hartzog. That's your boy. That is your boy. My man Vincent Shiz. Yeah, we must be clicking on all levels, the offense, the defense, and the special teams, and that's what makes you a great team. So we must get our special teams on the same level as the rest of the team. Yeah, I completely agree with you. And it's the same thing we talked about in the Scott Frost era. Like, we could never figure out special teams and lost us so many ball games. The problem is, I think you can fix defense in the middle of the year. You can fix offense a little bit in the middle of the year. You just can't fix special teams because there's only, you just kick a football, or you snap a football, or you punt a football. It's not too hard. There's not a specific play call there. So if you're not executing at the right level, it's a personnel issue. And it's clearly a personnel issue here, and you just can't fix personnel issues without having new players on the team. In the NFL, if you have a special teams issue, you know what you do? You cut the kicker and you get a free agent. Well, you can't do that in college football, so you just gotta live through it. Dallas says Wilson coming from the #1 Husker YouTube channel. I appreciate that, Dallas. Again, we're just doing things our own way here. Again, I think some people might think we already are the #1 YouTube channel. I'm not looking at subs, not looking at views or anything. We're just having a good time talking Huskers, man. Agree more on blitzing, keep them guessing. Yeah, again, we gotta blitz more. Very, very simple. Again, have some better blitz concepts. I think just a lot of our defense is just simple. It's vanilla. I don't know. And also, at the exact same time, I think, Burt Worrell, we need to get some more playmakers on the field on defense. Like, Vincent Shavers is a guy who needs to get more playing time, in my opinion. And I love what we've seen from John Bullock. I love what we've seen from Mekhi Bayer. I love what we've seen from Buda Wright. He's coming back. But, again, Vincent Shavers gives you a unique player who's just a complete freak athlete. So I want to see him more on the field. I want to see a guy like, Sear Wright more on the field. So, Again, we have some issues on our defense, but overall, I thought our defense played really good last week. The only game where I was really disappointed by our defense was against Illinois. And they have a great running attack. So I could be disappointed tomorrow, but hoping we're not. Hoping we're talking about a victory this time tomorrow. Our kicking is a crap show. I agree. And it's not just the kicking, it's the snapping. That's a huge issue. That plays as big of a part in the field goal kick as the actual kick itself. And I also think, our punt returns are not great when it comes to our gunners going down the field and tackling. So, yeah. Is our freshman kicker Nico good? Well, he hasn't played, so no. If he was good, he would play. John Hull was kicking the ball very low for the 2 blocks. Well, it's also because the snap was terrible. Like, not only was the kick really bad, but the snap was bad. So again, there's a million issues with our special teams. Going to be scorching hot. We'll have the shade on the sideline. I heard there's usually about a 20-degree difference in the temperature from one sideline to the other. Yeah, that's accurate. And that, again, people forget we changed the sideline that we were on for the first time this year. So as of right now, we used to be on, I want to say, the east side. Yes, we used to be on the east side, which has the sun in your face. We're now on the west side, like most teams are. I don't know why we just figured that out to go on the west side. So, yep, we are now on the better sideline, which means our boys are staying cool. But yeah, it is a lot hotter on that west side or on the east side. Who starts on defense next year? Do you think we have a drop-off? It's a great question. And listen, we're going to have a video about this during the bye week. We have a very interesting problem with our defense because our defense is senior-led. Okay, everybody on our defensive line who's starting is a senior. Okay, all 3 or 2 of our 3 linebackers who are starting are seniors. Every single starter in our secondary is a senior. Okay, we're going to lose literally everybody. So let's run through it. I'll do this off the dome. I will go through who I think is going to start at every single position right now. Okay, on our defensive line next year, Riley Van Poppel at nose, number 1. At D end, I think you probably have Cam Lenhard, and then the other one I'd say I could see Elijah Judy go back to D end. So those are your starters there. Again, assuming you have no transfers. Linebacker. Okay, I think Makai Bear comes back. That's 1. Vincent Shavers, that's 2. Princewell Emmanuelum at Jack, that's 3. So those are your guys up front. Then with your secondary, Sia Wright is your starting corner. I would slide in a guy like perhaps an Amari Sanders there at number 2 at the other corner spot. Then at safety, we have a huge predicament. Well, I'm not gonna talk about safety. Safety, we might have to get a couple transfers there. We need a transfer or 2 in general in the secondary. So that's what I would say. Yeah, we have some problems. What type of recruits would be at this game? Check out my video on Thursday. I will go over that in that video. Yep. It's crucial. We need to jump ahead in the first quarter if we're gonna have a solid win. I agree with you, man. We got to get going early. Okay, we have to be consistent. Yes, it's one thing to score on that first drive, but you got to be consistent throughout the first half. This Nebraska offense has actually been really successful at going down the field. We just have a really poor job at executing when we're inside the red zone. Okay, so we need to be consistent, and the play calling needs to be consistent. We've had a lot of 3-and-outs to start off the second half, stuff like that. So I agree with you, man. We need to jump out quick, take the lead, not give it back. My man Vincent Shavers says, everybody hit the like button and support the channel. Appreciate you, my man Vincent, once again. Absolutely appreciate you. Did we switch sidelines because we're no longer Nebraska nice? Some would say that's exactly why. No, I think Matt Rhule just woke up and was like, why the heck haven't we done this yet? Like, I don't know. Every single home team is always on the west side. Every single home team. Nebraska was like an oddity in all of college football that we were on the east side for so long. So they finally switched. I don't know why it took so long, but yeah. Carl says, who is your favorite Husker of all time? That's a good question. I mean, Amir Abdullah is the first one that just goes instantly to my head. Again, his play against McNeese State, I still remember that radio call. Won us the ball game. Kenny Bell's up there, one-handed catch versus Illinois. He won us that ball game versus Iowa in 2014. A couple others. Tommy Armstrong. It's a legend. Malik Collins, Randy Gregory, Vincent Valentine, that defensive line, I want to say in 2016 was really good. Nate Gary, and then one more. Oh, Wandale, loved Wandale. That's more of a newer guy, but I loved Wandale. I thought we always used him poorly. J.D. Spielman, Maurice Washington was a really good player who I liked a lot. Yeah, those are the guys who really come to my brain first. But guys, let me know in the comment section, who is your favorite Nebraska player all time? Let me know whether that's in the 90s, whether that's in the 2010s, like all my players are. Who is your favorite Nebraska football player of all time? Let me know right now in the chat. We'll get to it. Yeah, put that in. I want to know you guys' response. We need to work in Dylan running some more naked boots. Just needs to slide more. Personally, I think those calls should be very rare. Like, you're at the goal line and maybe you go to that. But I don't want Dylan to get hit. That's number one. And two, I don't think Dylan's that fast, so I don't believe there's too much value in doing that. But yeah, I think it's absolutely something that you should draw maybe at the 1 yard line, right? Where you have this kind of, this naked boot where he just kind of walks into the end zone. I don't think I would want to do it necessarily on like a 3rd down, in midfield. But yeah, definitely that's a red zone play call that I wouldn't mind. Yeah. I'm so tired of Satterfield's vanilla play calling. What plays would you call if you were the OC? Well, I would stick with what works. That's the first thing that really annoys me about Marcus Satterfield. Sometimes, we'll be run the ball straight down to the defensive's throat, and we just go away from it, right? We'll start throwing the ball with Raiola. We'll start throwing on 1st down even. Like, stick with what works. So, I just think that a lot of times Satterfield, his play calling gets bland, especially in the red zone. He is a horrific red zone play caller. And I don't love a lot of his concepts. I do a lot more slip screens. I think we have a lot of dynamic athletes on this team. Okay. We have Emmett Johnson, who's dynamic in the backfield. We have Jalen Lloyd, a guy like Malachi Coleman, a guy like even, you'd say Isaiah Nair, super slippery, Ja'Cory Barney slippery. I'd get those playmakers involved more. So a lot of these, I don't think we have enough slip screens personally to just get the playmakers to football. I like our use of jet sweeps as of recent. So that's what I do. Now, I'm not an offensive coordinator, so I can't answer that question to a T, but I think a lot of times we get inside the red zone and we just try to throw on 1st down. Or we'll go back to the same running play that we were running all drive. The defense finally stiffens out. You're sitting on a 2nd down and 10. You have no idea what to do. So, again, the red zone play calling is really what we need to focus on, and how we need to fix that. But I don't think Satterfield's been terrible this year, really. I don't think it's been terrible. I just think the red zone play calling has been atrocious. That's been the one thing I've been very frustrated with. Do you like the plays with HH in there at quarterback and Dillon wide receiver? Absolutely not. I'm very outspoken. I hate those play calls because they're a dead giveaway. What's going to, they tell the defense what's exactly going to happen, right? When Hoiberg goes in, he's going to have the football. So, for example, when Hoiberg's at running back, he's going to touch the football. When he's at wide receiver, he's going to touch the football because they wouldn't check him in for the ball into the ball game if you weren't going to give him it. Okay. And when he's at quarterback, okay, you're putting Dylan Raiola at wide receiver basically as a lame duck. So it's basically it's 11 versus 10 on the field. No, I don't like it. And again, it basically also signals to the defense that it's a run. You wouldn't put Hoiberg at quarterback to pass because if you're going to pass, you'd give it to your better quarterback, and that's Raiola. So, yeah, I don't like it. The only way I would like Hoiberg in the ball game is if he was the backup quarterback and Raiola got banged up. That's the only way I want to see him. I don't want to see him in this, bullcrap, fake quarterback role or this wildcat role or this wide receiver role. Don't want to see that because it's a waste of time. It's a waste of effort, and it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. We need to shut down the run game or it could be an ugly ball game. I agree with you, man. That's the number one key. It's the number one key every single day of the week. Bring in Emmett when their D is out physical for the kill. Work to a T. Yeah, again, it's going to be Dante Dowdle and Emmett Johnson. I believe those are going to be your 2 backs. I thought about it a lot over the week. And I know a lot of people wanted Dante Dowdle benched, but here's what Nebraska has. Okay, we have 4 really good running backs on our roster, but they're both in 2 different categories. We have our power backs in Dante Dowdle and Gabe Irving, and then we have our elusive backs / 3rd down backs in Emmett Johnson and Ramir Johnson. Okay, and you can only play 2, one from the elusive side, one from the power back side. So Dante is going to continue to play on the power back side. I think Emmett's going to get those reps that Ramir's been getting over the last couple of games. Favorite ever, Jeff Kinney. That's a good pick. Dylan, top 25 in almost every quarterback snap. I think he takes a big jump next year. Why next year? I think he takes a big jump this year going to the back half. Yeah, I think he'll be fine. Do you think we'll land Dawson Merritt after that visit to the Alabama-Georgia game? Depends if we win football games or not, man. How many games do we win? How many games do we win? If we win 10, we win 9, maybe. If we sit here and win 6, no, we're not landing Dawson Merritt. He's been pretty open about that. Tommy Frazier is your favorite player. Absolutely. And then other Dave says, feel bad your favorite play was against McNeese State. Great play, but sad era. Dude, that era was nothing on this era of Nebraska football. Like, I would go back to that era pretty quickly if I had the option. No, but actually I wouldn't, because I know that Nebraska's on the up and up right now. That wasn't my favorite play all the time. I think my favorite Nebraska play ever was Brandon Riley's touchdown catch versus Michigan State. That's probably number 1. Number 2 would be Nebraska's Hail Mary versus Northwestern. I was at that football game. Number 3 is probably Trey Palmer's catch versus Iowa a couple years ago. Like, Trey Palmer was on a different level that year, man. Jordan Westerkamp, my favorite Husker all time. Yep, again, we were just talking about the Hail Mary. Yep, Jordan Westerkamp. That dude was a stud. Best hands I've ever seen from a Nebraska wide receiver. Every year he did something special. The behind the back versus FAU. Man, he was incredible. Sue, Bell, Rex. Yeah, that's good. Those are some good picks. I love Kenny Bell, man. That afro, iconic. Sexy Rexy, of course, Rex Burkhead. And then how could you not say Sue? Yeah, Ndamukong Suh. He's actually on campus right now. I think he's going to be at the game tomorrow. So, yeah. It's good picks. Dallas says, we need to get Ferrari Lloyd more involved. He never caught more than one pass in a game. I agree. And I talked about this, I want to say, in my wrap-up video last week. But people haven't noticed this. Janiran Bonner's now benched. Ja'Cory Barney is officially that wide receiver 3 on Nebraska's team. Jalen Lloyd's wide receiver 4. Bonner's now wide receiver 5. So I expect Lloyd to get some more reps. But it feels like whenever he's in the ball game, he just happens to make a big play, a big chunk play. Give him more opportunity. That's all I'm saying. Knowing Nebraska, we're going to lose by 1 score again. Yeah. We'll see. I have a bad feeling as well. Do you think it was BS that Sue didn't win the Heisman his senior year? I completely do. Again, the Heisman just has a bias against defensive players, but I'm sure every single one of you guys has seen that stat. I want to say Pick Six Previews made it, where Ndamukong Suh outplayed the defensive lines of Alabama, Georgia, and Texas. Like, the entire defensive lines, he had a better stat than every single player on their D-line. That's crazy stuff. So, yeah, he absolutely deserved to win Heisman that year. I want to say Matt Ingram got it. Yeah, Matt, that was the year of Ingram, so it is what it is. It is what it is. Oh, Mark Ingram. Why did I say Matt Ingram? I knew it sounded bad off my lips. I was like, what? Why did I say Matt Ingram? It was Mark Ingram. All right. Is Nebraska ranked if we beat Rutgers? Yes, we will be ranked. I think we're technically 27th in the polls right now. We're the second most. We have the second most votes of the guys who are not ranked. So yes, we will be ranked. It'll be a ranked on ranked battle versus Indiana in 2 weeks if we win tomorrow. If Lawrence Phillips, your favorite all time, it's a good pick. Again, probably the most talented Nebraska player of all time, just from a pure talent perspective. Lawrence Phillips, so it's a good pick. Watching Maurice Purify's kid play in the Westside game on YouTube right now. Yeah, I've watched Maurice Purify. He's the second. I've watched him play a lot. He's okay. He was at North Star last year, Lincoln North Star. Wasn't too impressed. He's been better at Westside this year. I've seen a little bit of his film. I think Nebraska might offer him as a walk-on. I don't think we're going to offer him a scholarship, but yeah, Westside's rolling right now. I think they're playing Fremont. Sue murdered Colt McCoy, my favorite, or Sue stiff arm in Colorado's quarterback. Yeah, Sue was an animal, man. Just an animal. We were lucky to have him. My favorite Husker is Amir. It's his icing on the cake that he plays for my favorite NFL team, the Raiders. Yeah, Amir's a stud. And I'm happy he's having a great NFL career. You know what I mean? Like, he's doing a great job. Just kind of stay in the NFL. Like, it's one thing to get to the NFL. It's another thing to stay in the NFL for a long period of time. So again, he's been great. He's had a great career, and he's still kicking it, man. He's still playing at a pretty good level. So definitely happy for him. And he's a good representative of Nebraska. That's the thing I love about, like, a lot of my favorite teams or my favorite players growing up. Like, they're all great representatives of Nebraska. Like, they'll come back to the games, and just rep everything that's going on. So I appreciate Amir for doing that. Appreciate Will Compton for doing that. Sue to do that. Levante to do that. So love that. Over under 5 BS penalties against Nebraska. Give me the over. Give me the over. You know the answer. You know the answer. Again, the Big Ten refs are what they are. They're not going to change. I try to tell people, like, the refs are always going to be bad. How can you overcome that? Okay, how can you overcome that? Favorite Huskers, Levante David. That's a good pick. It's a good pick. That was a little bit before my time. Like to be completely honest with you, like I was a young man at that point in time. But yeah, Levante, I have good memories of him. Do you think our O-line will be good next year? Gunner has looked great for playing in 2 games. We have a lot of young talent on that O-line. I think no. I'm pessimistic about this offensive line next year. To be completely honest, we lose a bunch of dudes. Okay, we lose Ben Scott, we lose Ben Hart, we lose Corcoran. We're probably going to lose Prohaska. So we lose a lot of dudes. We lose Micah Mazuka. So yeah, I don't know. And Gunner hasn't played that great. That reminds me, guys. So Micah Mazuka is with Nebraska. I am happy to inform you guys that I spoke with Micah Mazuka, a member of his family, over the last week. Now, the member of the family did not want me to tell you guys who it was, but again, I talked with just a person who was related to Micah Mazuka, pretty closely related to the situation. Give you a little bit of a hint there, but Micah is still with the team. Listen, I know I've got a lot of questions about it. Like, am I going to talk about Micah Mazuka again? I'm not. I'm not going to make another video about it. I'm not even going to tell you guys on this live stream because listen, his family's not happy with the situation. He's not happy with the situation, what's going on right now. And there's a lot of stuff that if I were to make a video about Micah Mazuka, it would look poorly for the Nebraska football program. Okay. And I know a lot of recruits watch my stuff. I know a lot of players watch my stuff. So the last thing I want to do is shed Nebraska football program in a negative light. And if I were to make a video about Micah Mazuka and what's been going on, because there's some damning stuff that's going on behind the scenes, it would make Nebraska look bad. So that's my answer to people, asking me about it. Am I going to make another video about it? No, because it's a conversation for another day. Maybe we'll talk about it in the off season. Not now. Not now when it comes to Micah. But yeah. But he is with the team, and he probably will play this week, and not as a starter, but as backup. I don't feel like we're going to win. Trey Palmer's a great player. It's a good one, man. It's a good one. I can see us going 9-3 this season. Only losses to Illinois, USC, Ohio State. I like that prediction, my man. I hope you are correct. I really do. Rumor is USC wide receiver commit is no longer coming this weekend. You are correct, unfortunately. Corey Sims canceled his visit right after I made that video about him. Right after I made that video, it was announced he's no longer visiting. I think he's visiting USC this weekend, so he's locked in with them. It is what it is. I didn't think we were going to flip him anyway, so I'm not really freaking out about it. What do you think our regular season record ends up being? 8-4. It's kind of just been my prediction for a long time. I think 8-4 is what really Nebraska ends with, and I'll take that every single day of the week. We're probably going to get 15 penalties. You're probably right. You're probably right. All right, guys. Keep putting stuff in the comment section. We'll try to go just for a little bit longer here. Yeah, this is a big game. It's a really, really big game. I'm nervous. Rutgers is good. I believe Nebraska's good. But when the stakes are high and when things are on the line, what team is going to show up the most? We'll find out tomorrow. We'll find out tomorrow, man. How bad does this team really want it? Because clearly we didn't want it bad enough versus Purdue last week because we didn't play very well, especially in that first half. Yeah, we played good in the second half, but again, it was a 0-0 ball game at halftime. So we didn't really want it that badly versus Illinois. We didn't really want it that badly versus Purdue. What can we do versus Rutgers? Come out of the gates firing. I don't know. I'm nervous. We will see. We will see. Again, I think a close loss. Close loss for Nebraska. I could see a very real situation where Nebraska wins. And I hope I'm wrong. Like I told you guys, I hope I'm wrong, man. Really, really hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm sitting here tomorrow in my post-game live stream. Yes, Mike, we're doing a post-game live stream outside Memorial Stadium. Those are the best ones. And again, I hope I'm telling you guys I'm eating some crow because we won that football game. But again, I just have a bad feeling about it. But again, let me know right now. Again, your final predictions for the ball game. Does Nebraska win? Number one. Number 2, some statistic predictions. Who's an MVP? Let me know in the comment section. 3, just random prediction. Let me know. Let's get into it. Carl says, are the number 1 jerseys behind you Abdullah or Westerkamp? So, unfortunately, none of these jerseys have any names on the back of them. This is 15, though. So, this is Raiola, but it doesn't have Raiola on the back of it. But I got lucky. I've had this 15 jersey for a long time, and it just happened that Raiola picked 15. So, now I got to claim like I've had this forever. Yep. Nathan says, you don't sound excited about next year. I wouldn't say I'm not excited about next year. I'm uncertain, especially on this defense. But we just lose a lot of guys. All right, this is the first time in a long time that Nebraska's old. So we'll lose a lot of talent. Okay, and I feel good about our odds of getting really good talent transfer portal. I just don't know how aggressive Matt Rhule's going to be. I don't know how aggressive we're going to be. But I'll give you guys a little bit of a scoop here. Okay, there's a lot of murmurs that a lot of really, really talented transfers are going to be very interested in Nebraska in December. You want to know why? Because of Dylan Raiola. It's the gift that keeps on giving. Okay, good players want to play with good players. So I think a lot of really, really talented guys are going to try to come to Nebraska in the transfer portal. I just don't know how many of Matt Rhule's actually going to take, and that concerns me. I'm concerned about losing all 3 of our starting defensive linemen. I'm concerned about losing Tommy Hill, who's a stud. I'm worried about losing our starting safeties. So there are concerns for next year, but I was concerned at this point last year too. We're going to fix these holes. And guys are going to step up. So I think we do make a jump next year. I really do. I really do. And again, as long as Dylan Raiola is here, we're going to be fine. We're going to be a good team. As long as he's here. Lawrence Phillips, my bet, also one of my all-time favorite. Yep. And again, it's number 1. These guys, no, unfortunately, there's nothing on the back of these jerseys because back in pre-NIL, you cannot buy jerseys with names on the back of them. Now you can, but none of these have names on the back of them, unfortunately. But if I were to dedicate them to a certain player, this one goes to Wan'Dale Robinson. This 15 goes to Raiola, and my other one here goes to Westerkamp. That's what if I were to dedicate one. Let's see. Michael says, if we go 8-4, 9-3, how many teams try their best to pull Rhule? Hopefully nobody. I don't think we have to worry about it. Unless Penn State comes calling. Okay, that's the only program I really believe Matt Rhule will leave us for is Penn State. Because that's his alma mater. So 27-24, John Hall kicks a 60-yard game-winning field goal. That'd be nuts, man. That would be nuts. I would go crazy. I think there's a higher probability that it's 24-24. John Holt tries to kick a big field goal. It gets blocked, and Rutgers brings it back to win. So I don't know if we really want that scenario, Dallas. Someone says office setup would be fire. Would be a fire video. All your videos are fire, though. You guys want a tour of the dorm room? It's not that impressive. I promise you. Promise it's not impressive behind me, my guys. One day I'll do a vlog or something, like a game day vlog. Or a little behind the scenes of, I don't know, what I do. I don't know. If you guys would be into it, I'd definitely make it one of these days. Huskers win 24-23 against Rutgers. Rhule goes for 2 to go for the win instead of playing for overtime and the end. I like the concept, but knowing Matt Rhule, he plays for overtime. He's a very conservative coach at times. Okay, versus Wisconsin last year, he was conservative. He chose to go to overtime instead of setting it and trying to win. So I think if he had an opportunity to be conservative, he's going to take it. Player of the game against Rutgers, Raiola. It's a good one. I like that. Portal news is good. The line bolsters the line. Recruiting too. Yeah, no, I've heard a lot of Georgia talent. They want to come and play for Nebraska. Not specifically Georgia players, but players coming out of Georgia. They want to come play for Nebraska. Guys who are current freshmen who are playing elsewhere in the country, they want to come play for Nebraska because they're so close with Raiola. That's what I've heard. We'll talk about that again in like a month, 2 months. Like, that's not a talking point for right now. But it just depends on how aggressive Matt Rhule is going to be in the portal, because I truly believe we're going to have a lot of talented guys who want to come to Nebraska. It's just depending on how many he wants to take. Vincent Shiz and Rhule, we trust. Completely agree with you, man. Got to believe in Rhule. Got to trust him. We'll be fine. Are you bringing Crow to the stadium to eat after we win? Maybe. Maybe not. No, I'm not. What are the odds Foley makes it through the offseason if we don't make a bowl game? 0. The fan base will riot. He will have to. I mean, I think, honestly, what's going to happen is that he's going to be demoted. Like, I think Ed Foley's going to stay with the program almost no matter what, but he's going to be demoted to a lower role, to basically like an analyst role. That's what I would guess. That's what I would guess. All right, guys. Put your final stuff in the comment section. I don't want to go here for too much longer. So, again, your final thoughts about the game. I'll try to get to your last second stuff. Again, let me know your score prediction, what you're feeling like. We trust Raiola. We trust Rhule. They need a big-time victory. That's all I'm going to say. We need a big-time victory first, Rutgers. And then we need a bye week, man. It's fun covering college football every single week, but I need a week myself to not think about a game, to kind of reset and then get the vibe right for Indiana. Like, I'm not as excited for this game as I have been. It's weird. Like, I was very excited for Colorado. I was very excited for Illinois, very excited for Purdue. I'm just not too excited about this ballgame. I don't know why. So I kind of need a week to reset a little bit, enjoy some college football, and then we'll get back to it for Indiana. Of course, daily content, of course, still, but definitely need a little bit of that bye week. And hopefully we have a win going into the bye week, because I'm telling you, the vibe's going to be a lot better Husker land if we're ending on a victory going to the bye than if we're ending up on a loss. Over under Rutgers 4.5. Oh, wait, over under Rutgers has 4.5 runs over 20 yards. Give me the under. The under. Can you do play-by-play score? So you mean stream during the game? No, because I'm going to be at the game. Did you see the guy on TikTok saying he's trying out for kicker? Somebody commented and told him to start kicking with the laces facing in, so he did. I am not on TikTok, but I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. We need a I believe in Raiola. That'd be funny. I would buy it. Can we please fire Satterfield? I don't think Satterfield's been that bad this year, man. I really don't. 31-28 Rutgers. Again, I could see it. It's a close ball game. Comes down to a field goal. Hopefully we make that field goal. I could see it. Bill Bush. Let's hire him. Why not? Sea of Red. Do not be cardboard cutouts. Yeah, we need to be loud, man. We need to be loud tomorrow. I don't think we're going to be that loud because it's an afternoon game. These guys might be asleep, getting ready for the party. We'll see how energetic they really are. But yeah, we need to be loud tomorrow. And I'm going to be there getting loud with the rest of y'all. Warren Buffett needs to donate $100 million to 1890, $50 million a year to get Kirby to come here. That'd be funny, man. That would be funny. We'll go as far as the trenches take up. I agree with you, man. I think we'll play 2 complete halves for the first time this season and win 38-17. Just depends on the energy, man. Like, how are we coming out of the gates? Are we getting ready to go? Are we excited? Are we bouncing through the roof? Then I could, but I don't know. This offense stalls out, man. That's why I'm a little bit pessimistic about that. Let's see. Charles says, I know why you're not that excited about this game. Rutgers is scarier than you guys are making it. Man, no, I've been the first to tell you that Rutgers is scary. The only reason why I'm not too excited, I think it's just because, I don't know. I don't know. I think there's been a lot of football on recently. Like, it'll be nice to have a bye week, but to reset a little bit. And I think one of the reasons why I'm not as excited for this ballgame as I was for Colorado is simply because I think my expectations for the team changed. I thought we were going to maybe win maybe 9-10 games. We lost to Illinois. Pessimistic taste in my mouth. But if we win this ballgame, I'll be back on the hype train. Don't worry. But it's coming. I think one of the reasons why I'm not too excited is just simply because we're coming off of 2 weeks that weren't too impressive. Again, we lost to Illinois, and then we didn't play our A game versus Purdue, at least not in that first half. Third game in 3 years, we lost to Illinois in 22, Michigan in 23, and hoping for a victory this week. Are you talking about the game before the bye? Because then, yeah. We need Raiola more under center, especially inside the 5-yard line. I agree. We've been going shotgun way too much. That's not something that Matt Rhule said he was going to do. So I've been very shocked by that, to say the least. Would you stack the box to stop Rutgers' running game? Well, we can't really stack the box in a 3-3-5. That's a problem. The only way you can really do that is you put Princewell or Jack on the line, and then you might bring down Gifford to put him in the box. So, but you just really can't stack it. If we don't make a bowl game, we fire Rhule and get Saban. Never gonna happen, my man. Never gonna happen. Did you hear Rhule say we made mistakes against Illinois that we haven't made since Michigan last year? Rings a bell. We made a lot of mistakes versus Illinois, but we've made a lot of those same mistakes the rest of the year. Like, we had a huge penalty issue versus Illinois. We didn't fix that. We had that last week, right? So we've had a lot of execution issues. Our defensive line didn't play great. Our offensive line didn't play great. We weren't very disciplined. So, I don't know. We've been making a lot of mistakes, period, throughout the year. Not just one game. It's not like we had one bad game. I didn't think we played good last week. So, we need to figure that out. Hopefully, we do just that. All right, guys. I don't want to hold you here too much longer. I want to remind you, we will be going live after the game, live at Memorial. I know you guys enjoy those, so we will be checking in, seeing what I'm thinking, hopefully talking about a victory against the Scarlet Knights. So definitely make sure to be here right after the ball game. I will be live on YouTube talking about what just went down. So make sure to be here and check that out. But I appreciate every single one of you guys for tuning in tonight. Hope you have a good one. Hopefully we get the victory tomorrow. I appreciate all of you guys. Make sure to hit that like button on the stream. As always, folks, go Big Red, go Rhule, and I'll see you in the next one. Hold on. Never mind. I got a super chat. Right, Tackle Farms. You did super chat right when I was about to end. Appreciate my man, $10. He says, we have a stud at quarterback. Obviously, we have an old lineman that still gives us false starts. I hope they see this. Yep, man. We need to fix this false start issue because it's really killing our offense. Appreciate you. Last second super chat. You know how to address it. All right, guys. Now we'll end it. Appreciate you guys as always. Make sure to hit that like button on the stream. I will see you in the next one. See you tomorrow. Post game. Go Big Red. Go Rhule. And I'll see you in the next one.